All right. So apparently, the false potential spoilers, not actual spoilers, because we don't know. But there's a plot leak for Doomsday, and I will say I believe some of this, and I'll tell you why I believe some of it, because basically the casting obviously showed us that we're getting the X-Men, right? The Fox X-Men, the proper X-Men. And the reason why I believe this and what they say in this plot leak is Marvel's a one-trick pony. So they will look at what's been successful and just keep redoing it. Now, nothing's been successful since Deadpool and Wolverine. The take home from them was obviously Fox X-Men or nostalgia. So they're going to just do that, and they're doing it because we've seen the bloody casting. Now, I actually think that's a major misstep for Marvel. I mean, it's a major misstep anyway, but it's really, really dumb of Marvel to do that. Why? Because it renders the goodbye in Deadpool and Wolverine completely moot. Because that was what that film was. It was a goodbye to the Fox X-Men universe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to bring everyone back. And I know people will be like, yeah, but they're not actually the Fox X-Men. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. But they're still preying on people's nostalgia. And I just feel like it's bad. I just feel like it's in bad taste. But let's take a look at these plot leaks. So basically it said that the movie will revolve around the final incursion with Earth 616 and a divergent X-Men universe set to collide. Now, that's basically how Daredevil Born Again has addressed Netflix's Daredevil. So it's a divergent X-Men universe. So it's similar, but not the same, basically. Dumb. It's really, really dumb. So it sounds like the intention is to pick up where X-Men Days of Future Past left off, with Deadpool and Wolverine thrown into the mix for good measure. Because again, when in doubt, just throw everything at the wall. That movie's heroes from the Void will be back, as will Monica Rambeau. And it turns out her presence in the alternate reality we visited at the end of the Marvels is what draws the two worlds together. Cool, I guess.
All right.
So both Earth 616 and this X-Men universe, Earth 10,005, will believe they're being invaded and that the only way to save their respective realities is to defeat and destroy the other. So it's going to be Avengers versus X-Men.
Why wouldn't it be called Avengers versus X-Men then?
Man, well, just wait. Doomsday's in there. Just wait.
All right.
It will even make sense of Captain America Brave New World's post-credits, where the leader planted the idea of otherworldly invaders in Sam Wilson's mind with his vague warning. Hulk versus Wolverine is on the table. As is an X-Men Brotherhood of Evil Mutants team up. Back on Earth 616, Captain Marvel will team up with Shang-Chi, the Hulk, and Wong to try and bring Monica home, while Ms. Marvel looks to assemble her own team of heroes. So that's going to be the young Avengers squad. Although, speaking of which, the girl that plays the new Hawkeye, I mean, she's not like a young girl anymore, is she?
No, they actually had to even mention that in the post-credit scene for the Marvels, where she like does the Tony Stark thing with her. She's like, "You think you're the only kid superhero in the world?" And she's like, "I'm in college. I'm like 25."
Yeah, because she's like a full woman now. Like if you see her, she's a woman now. Anyway, so the Fantastic Four are reportedly still on their Earth when Avengers Doomsday begins, which doesn't really make any sense. So while the leak has some Spider-Man intel, Spider-Man doesn't want to get involved with any of what's happening, but he gets dragged into it and dons his symbiote costume in the process. All right. The costume's been described as Spider-Man No Way Home's final suit, albeit in black and white. Doctor Strange and Clear will be part of Doctor Doom's story. Victor Von Doom hates Kang and the TVA and blames them for what's happening in the MCU, leading to a full-on multiversal war inside the TVA during Avengers Doomsday's final act. So that's how they're going to handle this. They're going to have two separate battles going on.
You know what would be funny is if they added another multiverse part into this, and it was our world, and they actually were going after Kevin Feige in Disney for the MCU disaster.
I would live for that. That'd be brilliant. And then Loki is the MacGuffin. So that's the leak. What do you guys think of that?
That's garbage. It's
Yeah,
utter
that's
trash. It's utter trash. It sounds like a convoluted mess where nothing connects to anything else. It's just multiple different things happening. It sounds like 3 different movies in one. Where do the Fantastic Four fit into this? Where does Doom? Like, I don't even understand. Like, it's called Doomsday, but it seems like Doom is such an inconsequential part of this story. It's Avengers versus X-Men. If this were what they were doing, that title would have sold
Yeah.
way better than Doomsday. I don't get
Not
it.
wrong.
I don't get it. And it just sounds. It just all sounds dumb. It just all sounds stupid.
I agree.
Culture, you're muted.
Yeah. But the problem is it's plausible, Marvin. That's the problem. Yes, it sounds dumb, but it's plausible.
Oh, I firmly, but I believe a lot of this. To be fair,
Yeah.
Oh, I do too, 100%.
like how else are you having all of those bloody X-Men people? And again, they're gonna have the X-Men people in it because they need the nostalgia bait. They need to try and replicate that Deadpool and Wolverine money.
Ugh.
I reckon all the marketing will be centered around the X-Men. Like, I bet you anything.
Oh yeah, but they can't. They
because
can't
Disney-
center it around like Captain Falcon America and all them. Nobody wants
Can
to
you
see
imagine
that.
that?
But that's because they always learn the wrong lesson from any kind of success. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't if that's how they're going to approach it marketing wise, they're going to they're going to lean into the wrong part of what the elements were that made Deadpool and Wolverine successful. Yes, there are wonderful beloved X-Men characters out there, but you're doing it wrong. And they're going to do it wrong across the board. Dude, this is disgusting. I'm so done with it.
Well, and if you're going into the X-Men Days of Future Past like ending world, they already have a Hugh Jackman Wolverine. So are we going to get a Hugh Jackman Wolverine that's not the one from Deadpool and Wolverine? Because I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
But no, because it's a divergent universe. It's not the same one.
Well, and I've heard that that Hulk versus Wolverine is they were planning to do that as an actual movie.
Yeah, I heard that as
So,
well. But I don't know
I would rather see that as a Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
I would rather not. Not gonna lie, that Hulk is a bitch. I don't. I
That's
don't care
true.
about Hulk.
If it's smart Hulk Ruffalo, then yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
Smart Hulk. Oh, the worst.
Yeah.
This sounds like a chaotic mashup that's trying way too hard. I mean, you got all the buzzwords with this, with the multiverse and the big crossovers, but I don't know if all this is true. It's definitely ambitious on their part, but I mean, I think they're taking a big risk at this just basically being a big, huge, bloated mess that collapses under its own weight.
Yeah.
You know, I think the Infinity War and Endgame was the peak. You know, and they're trying their damnedest to try to get this to come back and be successful because they haven't had a successful MCU film outside of Fox's Deadpool, Wolverine, and Sony's Spider-Man. But actual Disney MCU, they haven't had a hit since Endgame.
No. Another reason why I believe this is if you think of it structurally, this is actually what they do with their movies generally. When they have a big ensemble, they separate all the characters and then bring them together at the end.
Yeah.
It tends to be what they do. You know, think of like Infinity War and Endgame. That's basically what they did, isn't it?
Yep.
They separated the characters and brought them together at the end. That's what this is doing.
Yeah.
Look, the fact that they're going to put Simu Liu in a movie again is just retarded. So this thing's doomed.
Nobody better drink any bubble tea in that movie. That's all I'm saying, unless they're
Yeah.
Chinese.
Yeah.
Funny.
Well, I mean,
forget all
Simu Liu
about
being
it.
in the movie is also pretty much an instant China will not run this movie.
Yeah.
So Chris Evans wasn't announced. Brie Larson's Captain Marvel wasn't announced. Do you guys think that they're gonna pop in there for
I don't
something.
think
Apparently, there's more announcements to come.
Yeah, I'm guessing that they're probably going to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form.
If you have Hugh Jackman in this movie, why wouldn't that be how you ended it? Why wouldn't that be in the X-Men section of it? We all already knew Robert Downey Jr. was in it. Like, they needed to end on a big one, and they didn't. It was Namor, and it was M'Baku, and the Sentry, and just nonsense characters.
I don't know. Maybe to try and save something for a trailer. I don't know, but then I don't know why they did this weird reveal anyway, because they didn't need to do this yet. So I don't know. Like I said in that our first segment, I just think they've lost it. Like it's just a lot of it just doesn't make any sense anymore with what they do. It's really bizarre. It's really bizarre. Ah, dear. We've got Olaf here, and he says this Doomsday is a prequel to Secret Wars, or a knockoff reboot where you have needed to see every movie and show on Disney Plus to understand a freaking minute.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good point, because
No.
a lot of people have not watched and kept up with everything and all the shows on Disney Plus. I mean, I know personal friends of mine who love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but don't subscribe to Disney Plus and haven't seen any of the shows.
Mm.
And when they saw Deadpool Wolverine, they're like, who's these TVA people? Where'd they come from? I'm like, well, you'd have to go watch Loki season 1 to kind of understand what's going on there. And they're like, oh, God. And I was like, yeah.
God damn, honestly, what a mess. What a mess.
That's why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did not tie in. They made sure to kind of keep that separate to where you didn't have to watch that show on ABC to be able to enjoy the Marvel movies. You could watch the Marvel movies, but then watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and understand. You'd hear about things that were happening, in the movies and stuff, but you didn't have to watch that show to get anything that was going on in the movies.
Yeah.
It all comes back to that, though. It's like, I'm tired of homework films, dude.
Yeah.
And they just need to make good movies that are not attached to every other piece of crap that they've put out. Because I agree they're going to be lost, but they're going to be pissed.
I feel like this is the movie that AI would make if you asked AI to make this movie.
Hey, maybe
Probably.
they incorporated AI in some of this.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably. Daniel Debs says, how does this make sense when Deadpool tried to apply to the Avengers? Also in Daredevil, there's a reference to Ms. Marvel being in CA for some reason.
Well, I think they insinuate that Deadpool like somehow crossed the multiverse. I don't know. I don't try to make sense of that.
Yeah, I have no idea, man. I don't. Do they really know? I don't think they really know anymore either. Oh, what a joke! What a joke! What do we think? Do we think with a budget that they've spent, with what they're going to be spending on these movies, do we think that they'll be successful? There's my question to you guys. Do we think that they'll be successful or not?
I think this movie will make money just because of Robert Downey Jr. coming back. It's an Avengers thing. All these I think people are going to go out and see this.
Do you really?
I think it's a crapshoot.
I think that will. I don't think it will be received well, but I think people are going to go
make
out.
money.
But
do you know how much Robert Downey Jr. has been paid?
That Robert Downey Jr. and the Russos each were paid $40 million each for those two movies. $80 million each.
Robert Downey Jr. was paid much more than the Russo brothers. So you're looking at about $100 million for their two movies.
And with all the characters in this movie, with every single name that they announced over 5.5 hours, this will have to make $1.5 billion to actually succeed, especially with the marketing campaign they're going to put behind it. That was
huge marketing.
I think this has the potential to be the biggest bomb ever. I think people are just done with Marvel. They're just done. Unless you show like Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans being in this movie, which I've heard is a thing that might happen. I just don't see
ScarJo
it.
did come out recently and be like, "No, I've got literally no interest at all. I'm done." She was quite like nasty about it.
Andrew Garfield also said he wasn't in Spider-Man No Way Home. I can't trust anything they say.
No, but she was quite nasty about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like she was derogatory towards Marvel, basically.
The rumor that I had always heard was that Doom was going to be the leader of like a dark version of the original Avengers.
Oh, lame.
So it would be Doom. It would be
lame.
Doom, Captain Hydra, like a Red Room Black Widow, an evil Hawkeye, and the Maestro.
Lame.
It would be lame. It would be lame.
Maestro would be cool. It'd be cool to see Maestro.
Not with Mark Ruffalo playing him.
No, yeah, obviously not with Mark Ruffalo. My God, no. Obviously, no, not with him playing it. No, that'd be someone else.
But like, you can't. I just don't think. It reminds me of like in WWE in like the mid 2010s when they would bring in like The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin with the roster that they had there, and everybody was like, "Oh, look, actual stars." And it like completely exposed the current roster as the fact that they were not superstars the way these guys were in the 90s. I think if you put Chris Evans in a movie with Anthony Mackie wearing the Captain America outfit, it's instantly going to be like, oh my gosh, look what we had and what we have.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, there we go. Anything else to say on this?
Stinks.
When is have they announced a release year? Is this 2027?
Next year.
Oh, next year.
May. Next May.
Yeah, it's next year.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. I think it's like May 1st or May 2nd next year, dude.
Wow. So they're in production now, and they are going to wrap this whole thing up and have it ready by next year.
And have shot elements and pieces for the next film.
Interesting.
Supposedly, yeah. I got a super chat from Neil Price says, I think Kevin Spacey would make an excellent Dr. Doom, was great as Lex Luthor, and I know he's what? And I know he a serial honker, but great villain.
A serial honker?
Neil, mate, come on. I gotta read this shit out.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I
mean, I don't love it. I don't love it as a concept. I just like the verbiage of it.
I mean, he's kind of been blacklisted, so
it's good that you were the one to read that though, because if any of us read it, like in our like slovenly American accents, it wouldn't have sounded as cool as be like, he's a serial honker.
God damn. I appreciate that, Neil, mate. But yeah, Kevin Spacey's a good actor. He does villains really well. He would make a good Dr. Doom. JD says these actors are all too old. Yes. Rebecca's 52 and will sport the Mystique body paint. Ugh.
Yeah, of course.
Ian and Patrick are 200 years old. RDJ will be 60. Can't wait for the action scenes. Yawn. Ugh. Yeah, it'll all be CGI though, won't it, mate? So it's kind of one of those things that you're like, yeah, I don't know.
Question for you guys on this. Do you think what we're going to get with the X-Men in this, are they all going to be in like their 90s costumes the way Wolverine was because of how well that was received? Like, are we going to get Ian McKellen in like the red and purple Magneto costume finally?
Oh, God, can you imagine?
That would look ridiculous. It would look terrible. It would look terrible.
It'll all be CGI, man. It'll all be CGI. Fucking nonsense.
Like I think Mystique will have the white tunic, the white dress that she usually wears in the comics.
Yeah.
They're not going to put her out there half naked.
No.
Is Red Hulk going to come back?
Oh God, I hope so, because it would just be the crap cherry on top of the sundae that is this movie.
Right there. Right, well there you go.